Julie was more of the child that she was also very sensitive, but she was very shy, had a few friends, but not a lot of friends. Joe had a lot of friends, so, you know, they were very, very different. Joe, as he got into middle school, had more and more trouble in school. Julie was in the recommended for the advanced classes.
I put enormous pressure on myself to do well, and all that stress will make your mood swing as well. So that definitely has an effect, and that triggers my depression a lot whenever I get really stressed. Sometimes that's what happens, is I may go into a depressive phase.
I would just act out like towards my parents and stuff. I would be like when I was like 15, 16, I was real hyper, and I would be real mean to them. I don't know, I would just keep the thoughts inside, and you know, and then when I'd come home, I'd lash out at my family or something, and then I'd go off and party, and it just was downhill spiral for me.
When he got in high school, he kind of got into a group of partiers, and so we sort of thought his behavior was more rebellion. And, you know, as a parent, even though we're medical people, we, you know, you don't always want to see what's really there.
I just kept doing drugs and alcohol, and then I dropped out of school when I was in 10th grade. I kept taking different medicines and trying to find the right one, and I guess I just didn't learn.
His alcohol problem had gotten to be really bad, and I kind of reached the point where I just was not going to tolerate this anymore. And we had a very emotional moment. I screamed and yelled at him and told him I did not love the Joe that was living in the way that he was, that his medication would never do him any good if he continued to party, and that if that was his choice, he could live under the bridge, he could live on the street, he could live in the gutter. I did not want him to call me anymore. I did not want to hear from him. I mean, this is so horrible to say to your child. But I said, if you get in the hospital, don't call me, because I knew that something drastic had to be done. So he went into an alcohol and drug treatment center, and it was what he needed.
I was just in so much turmoil emotionally because, you know, of course I had my suspicions about what was going on, but there was such a change and shift in mood all the time. It was very hard to live a normal life like that.
She would one day be very introverted, the next day, I know one time she had some kind of a report to give in class, and she came home and told me that there was a song that had been appropriate to use with this subject matter. And so she just sang it a cappella in class. You know, and I'm sitting here thinking, my goodness, you know, we have this introvert on one side, so I guess that was, you know, her changing moods.
I have the intrusive thoughts. I have them sometimes real bad that I just sometimes can't take it. I just cry and cry. I guess I have a purpose to be here because when I tried to commit suicide, it was pretty bad, and I've made my parents, they've cried over it because they just don't want me to hurt, my sister to hurt, and but they've been real supportive, and I couldn't ask for better parents.
Because Joe goes through the same things I do, he understands, and whereas a lot of people don't understand or don't quite grasp what you're feeling, he knows.
I can feel sometimes them days when she's down, and I'll just give her a call, and she'll know what I'm going through, and I'll know what she goes through, and you know, it just really helps.
I have a very supportive family. They are wonderful. I love them very much, and they've really taught me a lot of lessons in life. Sometimes, like when you don't feel like, you know, doing anything, where you're just so depressed you can barely move, they'll always say, okay, come on, you know, you can work through this. They're very encouraging, and I think that's part of the reason why my brother and I have done so well.
Most mothers are probably like me. You want to fix it, and not being able to fix it is just so so devastating. It's been so important to me my whole life to be a good wife and a good mother. And you always ask yourself, well, what did I do wrong? I've striven to keep my children's illness private. This today was kind of scary for me to do this because, take a chance of making it known. But I just did not want them to be hurt. They didn't choose to have this disorder. I wouldn't have chosen it for them.